Okay, so let's imagine a scenario. You've got a super important server, right? It's humming away in a data center maybe hundreds, even thousands of miles away, and then it just dies. You can't just stroll over and hit the power button. So how do you fix it? Well, today we're going to dive into exactly that, how you get full hands-on control of a machine you can't physically touch.
And that really is the million-dollar question for any sysadmin. A critical server crashes. The whole operating system is gone. It's fallen off the network. It's completely dark. It's basically turned into a very, very expensive paperweight. So how in the world do you bring it back to life from your desk? The answer, it turns out, is a special kind of tech that gives you a virtual pair of hands, letting you reach right into the hardware from anywhere. And that technology is called remote console access. I mean, the name says it all, but think of it as the digital version of being right there. You see exactly what would be on its monitor. Your keyboard types on its screen. Your mouse moves its pointer. It is the absolute lifeline when things go wrong from a distance.
So today, we're actually going to walk through this whole process step by step. We'll start with the problem, then we'll deal with some pesky browser security. We'll find our way into what I call the server's cockpit, unlock the virtual console, run through something I like to call the Java gauntlet, and finally, we'll get that connection. Let's get into it.
Right, so the scene is set. Our server is far away, and it's in big trouble. Now, your typical tools, like remote desktop or VNC, they're totally useless here because the main operating system isn't even running. We have to go deeper to connect to the hardware at a really fundamental level.
So the very first thing we do is point our web browser to the server's special management address. And boom! Right away, we hit our first wall, a big, scary-looking warning from the browser itself.
You've definitely seen this before. Your connection is not private. It looks alarming, but here's what's happening. Your browser is flagging this because the server is using a self-signed certificate. Think of it like this. A big public website uses a trusted official ID, kind of like a passport, to prove who it is. This server, though, is using a self-made ID card. It's not meant for the public internet, so it doesn't need that official stamp. Since we know we're talking to our own server, we can confidently tell the browser, "It's cool, let me through."
Okay, so we've gotten past that first security check. Now we arrive at the login page for the server's core management system. This is where the real power is. And here we are. This is the login for something called the iDRAC. That stands for Integrated Dell Remote Access Controller. The best way to think about this is that it's a completely separate, tiny little computer that lives on the server's motherboard. Its only job is to watch over and manage the big server. And this is the most important part to understand. We are not logging into Windows or Linux here. We are logging into a totally independent system. This is what's called out-of-band management, and it means we have total control over the server's hardware, power, fans, you name it. It's always on, always watching, even if the main server is completely powered off.
So we log in and we land on this dashboard. This is mission control for the server. You get a complete overview of everything. System health, temperatures, how fast the fans are spinning. It's incredibly powerful, but we're here for one specific tool.
Our mission, remember, is to see the server's screen. So somewhere in this dashboard, we need to find the button that opens that magic window, the virtual console.
And there it is, usually right on the main page, a simple launch button. Now, when you click this, something interesting happens. It doesn't just open a new window in your browser. Instead, it downloads a little file. And this file is a small application that runs on a technology you might have heard of, Java. It's a bit old school, but it's super common in these systems, and it's what will create the bridge to the server's screen. All right, now for the last, and let's be honest, most confusing part of this whole thing. To get our connection working, we have to navigate a series of security pop-ups. I call it running the Java gauntlet. It's designed to make you really, really sure you want to do this.
So pop-up number 1. This looks familiar, right? Just like the browser didn't trust the server's ID, the Java system doesn't trust this little app's digital signature. It's just another security layer. And just like before, since we know where this came from, our own server, we tell it to continue.
The second warning is a bit more direct. It's basically asking for permission to run with some serious privileges on your computer. It's saying, hey, this thing wants deep access. Are you absolutely positive you trust it? And since we're the ones who started this whole thing, the answer is, of course, yes.
And just to be extra safe, here's one final confirmation. I know it feels a little repetitive, but every one of these clicks is a deliberate security checkpoint. You are confirming you know what you're doing and you accept the risk. With that last click, we're through the gauntlet. So just to recap that gauntlet, it's pretty simple when you break it down. First, you open the file you just downloaded.
Second, you accept the signature risk and hit Continue. And third, you give it that one last confirmation to run the app. 3 clicks and you're in.
And after all those steps, after navigating all those security warnings, we get our reward. The connection is finally made.
This comparison is just perfect. On the left, you've got the slick, modern, graphical web dashboard that we use to start the process. And on the right, that's what we get access to, the raw, old-school text-based boot screen of the server itself. We've literally peeled back all the fancy layers of modern computing to get to the core.
And there it is, mission accomplished. This little window is now a perfect mirror of what's happening on the server's monitor. We have full control of the keyboard and mouse. From right here, we can get into the BIOS, change low-level hardware settings, or even install a brand new operating system from scratch. We can do anything we could do if we were standing in that data center with a keyboard and mouse plugged directly into the machine.
So what are the big things to remember from all this? First, this type of remote access isn't just a nice to have. It's absolutely essential for managing servers. Second, the real magic is that management card, the iDRAC. It's literally a computer that manages another computer. Third, all those security warnings, they're a normal part of the process, and understanding why they pop up is what matters. And finally, yeah, technologies like Java might seem old, but they are still the rock-solid backbone for a lot of these critical systems.
You know, this whole process, with all its different clicks and plugins, can feel a little clunky. And that makes you wonder, right? As technology pushes forward with things like HTML5 and even tighter security, what does the future of remote server management look like? How do we make this absolutely critical process even smoother, faster, and more secure?